Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. You are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating, yes? Co-creating at its best. You are knowing what you are wanting. You are enjoying knowing what you are wanting. Have you figured out how it is that you know what you are wanting? It's nice that life focuses you, isn't it? Sometimes you think that you would rather not know what you want so much, because the reason you know what you want so much is because you know what you don't want so much. Something about that focusing that helps you to discern. And it's helpful when you focus yourself gently, but there is nothing wrong with extreme experiences that cause you to focus. Do you like strong desire? Yes. Do you enjoy strong, not yet manifested desires? Not so much. That's interesting, isn't it? And yet, if you knew what we know, and at some level you do, if you knew that if a desire exists, it can be manifested, then wouldn't the promise of that manifested desire make it worth the unfulfilled yet desire if you really knew? Yes. So what's the holdup? How is it that you don't really know? How is it that you can live life and hatch a desire or a whole bag full of them? And even though they have not yet come into full blossoming, see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it, fruition, you sometimes lose sight of the promise of it because the reality of the absence of it is so obvious. Is that what it is? So you're hung up on what is. Is that what you're telling us? Are those the words we just put in your mouth? Yes. Those are the words we just put in your mind. Because what is... You like what is, don't you? You like what is. Why do you like what is so much? What is it about this manifested moment that is so intoxicatingly important to you? What is it about what is? Well, it's because you can decipher it so fully. All of your physical senses are observing it. So you're seeing it and hearing it and smelling it and tasting it and touching it. And you say, this is reality. And we say, it is. It is reality. It is a manifestation point, because as you're being in your now, everything that you are perceiving through all of your senses, and let's talk about the sense that you hardly ever talk about, that is the most important sense of all, and that is your emotional sense, how you feel in the moment, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're smelling, what you're tasting, what you're touching, but what you're feeling in the moment, that's your manifestation point, isn't it? That's your manifestation point. The manifestation of the emotion within you is really big, isn't it? And we think that that's why your now has you so captivated. And we're not trying to talk you out of being captivated by your now. We're just trying to talk you into using your ability to focus so that as you are observing your now, you can hold yourself in alignment, or at least not so far out of alignment with the things that you have asked for that are already vibrationally gathered, that you have not yet come to the place of being able to translate in the fullness of your physical senses to the point that you call it reality or manifested. So we think what we're really talking about here today, are you with us so far? Mostly? Yeah, mostly you are. We think that what we're talking about is what manifestation really is. What is manifestation? What is it? Is it the new car that you just drove home, or the one that you hope to do soon? Is it the house on the beach? Is it the relationship that you've been yearning for? Is it the pile of money? Is it the empire you're trying to build? Is it the perfect business environment? What is a manifestation? And we notice that often when you think about manifestation, you're thinking about those things or those experiences, those pinnacle, peak kind of things, those life-changing things. Oh, I want to create, or I want to manifest this kind of lifestyle, or this kind of relationship, or this kind of work experience, or this kind of meaningful, life-fulfilling experience. And we say, good for you, good for you, good for you. But when we talk about manifestation, we're talking about right here, right now. What has manifested in your life, which means how do you feel about your money? How do you feel about your body? How do you feel about your relationships? How do you feel about your economy? How do you feel about your government? How do you feel about your world involvement? How do you feel about your ecology? How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? What is your perception of life? What is your manifested right here, right now perception of life? And the big question is, does it include, or better said, are you allowing it to include who you really are and what you really know and what you really think and what you really feel about all of that? Because most humans, the beasts are an exception because they're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. They are, you call it instinctually, they are instinctually focused, which means broad view, always focusing through them. But humans, we love you very much. Humans, we love you very much. Humans have managed to focus yourselves apart from the fullness of who you are, so that in many of your manifested moments, you're not allowing all that you have become. And that is so interesting to us, because all day, every day, as you've been sifting through the variety of life, it has caused you to create a vibrational version of you, which is where we stand, which is always the precursor to your manifested version. But you know what's required for your manifested version of you? Only vibrational compliance, only emotional compliance. You only got to be in the mood for what you're asking for, and it must be. That's all it is. Your attitude, your mood must line up with what you want. And if you're so hung up on reality, and if you're letting reality, which sometimes includes the absence of the new car, the new lover, the old lover, the good body, or whatever it is you're reaching for, if you're facing reality and noticing the absence of something wanted, and that absence is now dictating your mood, your manifested attitude, your manifested worldview, your manifested personal view. If your view is dictated to you or influenced to you, and you are in that vibration, which equals the mood or the emotion, you are depriving yourself of that full view. All that means is you've pinched yourself off from something that really is, and you can't see it yet. But here's the thing. What it really comes down to is that you have two choices when you are acknowledging what is. You can either accept it as a good thing or tense against it as a not good thing. And what do you think will put you on the path of where you want to be faster? In other words, is there really a choice? And when you couple that with the knowledge that what is doesn't mean diddly squat, that what is the bouncing off place for more, that what is the beginning of the journey, and you get your windshield out of the floorboards and out there looking where you're going, and you begin accepting the manifestation as the emotion that you're feeling, not as the reality of the manifestation of something that you're looking for, then you begin feeling good now. You see, when you interact with the medical community, one of the things that they do avidly and deliberately that is unproductive and unhelpful is that they scrutinize what is to such a degree that they hold everyone in a sort of state of limbo while they continue to point out what is. It is surprising that anyone survives the medical community.
Right.
Because attention to what is so dominant. They want to scientifically acknowledge what is. And so if you will just use the analogy of the windshield on the floorboards and laugh about it and not tense against what is and not tense against those who are all wrapped up in what is and go general in the attitude, and we know that you know how to do this, that all things are possible, and that once you've decided that you want something, it is certainly achievable, and that you don't need anything to happen this red hot minute because you have plenty of time. And this is the thing, this is what this job search really reveals in a really poignant way, is that there is pleasure to be had wherever you are, once you decide that that is your mindset. And there's something really off about waiting for the perfect circumstances before I allow myself pleasure. That is backwards of everything we teach. And everything that we teach is, I will find pleasure because I simply desire it, and everything else will be spawned from that. That's the work. In other words, put it into the vortex conversation. Almost everyone says, give me something good to observe and I'll feel good in response. And we say, that's all fine and good if you've got that kind of role going. But how about feeling good anyway, adjusting your vibration to be a cooperative component to what is good, and then watching the manifestation that ensues from that. That's truly what deliberate creation is. And everything else is regurgitation. Most people are creating in a way that we call regurgitation. They observe and they have a vibrational response to what they're observing. And they observe and they have a vibrational response to what they're observing. And fortunately, because there are as many nice things happening around them as there are not nice things, most people keep a pretty decent balance going on. But when you reach a place where you don't need the balance to observe, but instead you decide that you have the power to direct your thoughts because you are on a journey for an emotional manifestation, and you have the ability to achieve an emotional manifestation right here, right now, because you know how to go less specific, less specific, less specific, less specific, general, 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 general. It was all negative, but it got better, and now you're moving into generally positive. You have the ability to move your vibration into a rockin' and rollin', good feeling vibrational place. You can achieve a manifestation of an emotional shift right here, right now, on any subject in the world if you decide that you want it enough. And there's nothing like something that you don't want that helps you to make that decision. And once you get hold of that, then they will begin writing medical journals around all kinds of people who are doing all kinds of seemingly impossible things. The world is ready to understand that it has a vibrational basis. And the world is ready for those like you who understand the vibrational basis, who are applying yourself vibrationally, which means emotionally, who are feeling good because you choose to, not because something gives you reason to, who are having paradigm shifts, who are creating things that are so outside the box that most people believe and understand, that it is going to make all kinds of people stand up and take notice that this is a vibrational world and that all things are possible. If you are an expanding being, and you are, everyone is, so if more is coming, then isn't less happening right now? Isn't that just a consequence of expansion? So isn't it always improving, which means isn't there something that can be improved upon? So this is where the complete acceptance and making peace with what is. And it's about putting your emphasis on where you're going. The emphasis, not your undivided attention. We're not asking you to not live in the world and not be aware of your body. But the emphasis on where you're going. The emphasis on where you're going.
Okay.
So when you say, I've got 1 foot in this world and 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 1 foot in this world, we say, if you'd have 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in this world, oh yeah, there's that one, and 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in this world, oh yeah, there's that one, and 1 foot. In other words, emphasis on where you're going. We're not asking you to be delusional. We're not asking you to ignore completely what is. We're asking you to emphasize where you're going. Emphasize where you're going. And the analogy is annoying to most of you, but we love it, so we're going to give it to you anyway. It's like driving your vehicle out on the open road, looking out there, hopefully, rather than down. You never say, I would like a new Camaro and I would like a glass floor. Why do you want a glass floor? Oh, and by the way, I need no windshield. I'd like my windshield on the floor. Because I need to be infinitely aware of where I am, and I'll just take my chances on where I'm going. Which is exactly the way a lot of people live. They are so infinitely aware of where they are that they're just taking their chances on where they're going because they're not looking where they're going. They're not feeling their way, you see.